Hey guys, I hope everyone's well. I wanted to come and speak out this evening. Um, I know that there are a lot of people all over the world who are confused and upset and really depending on the outcome of our election here. And so I wanted to speak out to tell you guys a few things for those of you who may not know. Um, I wanted to tell you not to worry, that, we've been called conspiracy theorists and many other things. But recently, the people who have called us conspiracy theorists and other things are beginning to say, oh shit, because they're starting to see the bigger picture. Even at times through this, there have been times where I have been very down and had doubts about everything, and I'm only human, but I'm watching it unfold before my very eyes. And everything that's happening is in our favor. I wanted to let you know, patriots of the world, that Donald Trump will prevail because of the mass voter fraud across the nation. Mass voter fraud. And I wrote a couple of things down because you guys know I lose my words. So I didn't want to forget anything. So I want to start by saying the computer glitch. So the computer glitch is not a glitch at all. It was an algorithm put into these computer systems to tell the number of votes that Joe Biden needed to beat Trump and to switch those votes. We've seen examples of vote switching live on CNN where literally an exact number of votes gained for a Democratic candidate were in the same second taken from the Republican candidate, the exact same number. And this has happened over and over and over again. So one of Trump's attorneys said on the news that they have discovered this algorithm. The ballots are watermarked. I have seen evidence and proof that they are watermarked. So they will know which ballots are legitimate and illegitimate. So there are also photos of ballot counters opening packages from logistics companies in China. Why would a ballot counter need to open packages from a Chinese logistics company unless this is who's sending in fake ballots? And there are many examples of this, and this is just one thing. But yeah, these fake ballots were manufactured in China. That's why they're opening these packages from China. So I'm going to speak on QAnon for a minute because QAnon has been banned from everywhere. They have been criticized and just discredited and called a hoax and a lie. And, there are times where, I have my doubts too. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I need to see it to believe it. And I'm one of those people who, when I see it, I'll believe it. I want to believe it, but when I see it, I'll believe it. So Q said a while back, watch the water. No one knew what that really meant. Now we get it, right? So I've learned from the mainstream media that if they are telling us not to pay attention to something, and it doesn't mean anything, that it's a hoax, it's a myth, it's not happening, it's absolutely happening, and we need to pay attention. We need to do the opposite of what they're telling us to do. If they're ignoring something huge and making a big deal out of nothing, it's because they're trying to distract us from the real issue. Even Fox News in this time, I feel, has abandoned us. And we Patriots made them number one. Number one. Never forget that, Fox News. Bought out by Disney, and most everyone on there has sold out, minus a few. I can barely stand to even watch Fox News anymore. So, also, Benjamin Netanyahu, this is something I remain silent on many times, because my opinions can do nothing to help my cause and the people that I fight for. But this is particularly disgusting, being that my president, Donald Trump, has bent over backwards for Israel. And at times, I felt cared more about Israel than the US and did more for Israel than he was doing for us. And Benjamin Netanyahu is one of the very first people to come out and congratulate Joe Biden on the stolen election that he didn't win. I mean, that's kind of a disgrace. It's disgusting. And just, Donald Trump has done so much for Israel and continues to do so much for Israel. And I feel like that is a betrayal for Benjamin Netanyahu to do this, because he's been a friend to him. Obama and Biden treated Netanyahu like a dog every chance they got. Obama continuously humiliated him publicly, refusing to meet with him, refusing to help him in any way. And this is how you repay a man who has helped you? Bullshit. I know there are many people in many nations depending on the results of this election. The world literally depends on it. I know this, guys. I made this video today to tell all of you that everything is going to be okay. Trump knew they would do this, and he led them to their own demise, kind of like a Judas goat. Things were put into place to expose them on such a grand scale that there can be no culpable deniability. He needed to win by a landslide in order to prove the massive corruption and fraud that the Democratic Party and people colluding with them have committed. And he did. Nancy Pelosi's son, Paul Pelosi, he owns a major part of the company that provided these voting machines, these ballot machines. Too many coincidences, huh? Another thing I wanted to say is So, as I said, they will have no defense, no culpable deniability, none. Um, there are a couple of things that can happen, okay? The only way Donald Trump is going to lose this election is if he were to concede to Joe Biden, which he will never do because he knows that. This is what is going to happen. The massive voter fraud across the whole United States, even in Texas, my own state, is going to lead this going to be decided by the Supreme Court. They can do one of two things. They can throw out all mail-in ballots, and say they are invalid based on mass voter fraud across the nation, or they can throw out the entire election based on mass voter fraud in the entire nation. Should they do this, there are 30 Republican seats. There are 19 Democratic seats. Should it go to them for a decision, according to the 12th Amendment, by law, they must vote down party lines. So, Judge Gorsuch, Judge Kavanaugh, and Judge Barrett, all appointed to the Supreme Court by President Trump, they also all happen to be members of George Bush's legal team from 2000, when Al Gore was president for 1 month. Before the Supreme Court overturned that election and gave it to Bush. The only way Trump can lose is if he concedes, and he will not. And the Supreme Court justices that have been appointed by Trump and that are conservative, every single one of those have been viciously attacked, have had the Democratic Party try to destroy their lives. I mean, in such disgusting ways. I don't think that these Supreme Court judges will be doing anything to help these corrupt, vile criminals. Biden has done everything he can to enrich himself with money for greed and power. When have you ever heard of him giving up his salary to the military or to anyone for that matter? No. Joe Biden and his family have grown rich off of his job that is paid by the American taxpayers. He has taken advantage of that position for 40 years. And he needs to be exposed just like he is, and he needs to be arrested along with many other people. And I just wanted to tell you guys, do not lose hope. Donald Trump won this election fair and square. He won it by a landslide. And they have tried to steal the American people's voices, my voice, and every other American that voted for Donald Trump, because we love our country. We don't want to see it destroyed. We want the rules to be made by our Constitution. We do not want socialism, communism. We do not want to end up like Venezuela and South Africa, which Joe Biden had a huge hand in South Africa anyway. We don't subscribe to your bullshit. And there are those of us who will not stop fighting for the truth and what's right. And to all of you GOP candidates who have sat back like cowards and not stood up and done the right thing, and especially to those of you GOP candidates who hold office and have congratulated Joe Biden on his stolen, false victory, you are finished. We will never vote for any of you again. If you do not stand up to this voter fraud, we will never see another Republican conservative president ever. Ever. You have to stand up and do the right thing. And if you don't, there will be a price to pay. You will not be voted back into office again. And I know for a fact there are at least 72 million other Americans that feel the exact same way I do. I voted for Donald Trump. And hopefully soon we will know the true number of Americans that voted for Donald Trump. And for everyone all over the world who has supported my president, you have supported us, the people. Thank you. I cried when I saw the plane flying over the soccer field in Liverpool with a banner that said, "The world knows Trump won. Make America great again." Things like that are amazing. Never in history have we seen for any president anywhere what we have seen for Donald Trump. Never. And I just want to thank everyone who is supporting us right now, because there are a lot of things that I fight for and a lot of people that I fight for that I care dearly for. But if I don't fight for my president right now, all those fights will have been in vain. So I'm asking all of you guys that I've supported to fight for us too. Thank you. Talk to you soon.